I think so. 3 minutes and 57 seconds I've been live. No, I have not. So I don't know what's going on with that. But anywho, I have a little bit of planning involved in today's show. I'm a bit excited. Let me just quickly check if things are, decent, indifferent. If the streams are actually working. So I can get into it a bit. Oh, it is on. Fair enough. So I don't know why I named it Phuket and Beyond, because I planned to not talk about Phuket at all. Anywho, I have an interesting show planned. I hope everybody's okay. Everybody's doing good. It is 8:45, so apparently if you have a full-time job, it's next to impossible to do this on time. I guess you just need to be extremely organized, which I am not. Anywho, I have an interesting show. I've already said that 3 times. Let's get on it. It is raining as usual. Phuket never stops at all. It's a bit annoying, to be honest, but what can you do? You can always just hope that it sometimes stops raining so you can go to the beach, or I literally have a pool I can't use. Whoa, that's the flex right there. But yeah, that's about it. Let's get into it. Let me check a few things first. So I've been wanting to use this thing called Restream Chat. So if I get any viewers or something, I got 2 right now, but I'm not expecting too many more. I'm joking. Let's put on chat as well and see what happens. I have a somewhat kind of a funny starting show. If you guys are in chat, please help me test this shit out. Just say something, say hi, say whatever, and we'll see what happens. On the other hand, I do want to try to check chat somehow here as well. I didn't install Restream. Let me check the audio first. You hear the music and blah blah. On the other hand, I do want to try to. I'm kind of loud, but that's okay, I guess. It says I'm live. Oh, NMP LOL is online. I like him. I like you, NMP LOL. Who's this guy? It's a hi from me if you are around. Apparently there's a chat room. Yeah, anyway, so you guys can see it. If you guys do see the chat, please let me remove it for now. Yeah, let me remove it for now. You can see a bigger part of the screen. Anyways, so an interesting stuff planned. First, I came across this 1-day-old piece of news. Thailand could see 500,000 more infections if the country rushes reopening. I have been saying that for almost 2 years now. Nobody listens. Since the Phuket sandbox, it's been bad as well, and they're not doing anything about it. They're basically extending things as well, and there are people who are just like going ahead and they're like, we don't care, basically. So that's happening. I'm just checking a few more things. Enjoy the music for a sec. I'm looking for Restream Chat, the app. Can't seem to find it. So what's supposed to happen is that Restream is supposed to put everything to all of the different what do you call, chats. It's supposed to get all the messages and it's supposed to bring it to the main thing. I don't know how to do that right now. Let's get on it anyway. So the funny thing is always on ASEAN Now, which was Thai Visa, is always their responses. Most of them are funny. But let's read the news first. Thailand could see an additional 500,000 COVID cases and 7,500 fatalities by the end of the year if the Prime Minister's reopening plan in October remains on track. I think that's October 1st. A medical professor said yesterday. This includes likely unreported cases and asymptomatic cases. He's at Chulalongkorn University. It's actually a pretty decent university. Tira added that the impact went beyond statistics. We got the full story here, but I'm just curious what others have to say, because when I've worked in the news in the past, what happens is the readers, they don't really care about all of the information. They read the headlines, they read a little bit, a few lines, and then they basically make the decision on what the story is basically saying. So let's see what they've said. One person said, why, as far as the sandbox goes, it's not the vaccinated, tested new international arrivals that are feeding the outbreak, and rises of positive cases in Phuket. It's the local Thais and Burmese immigrants. He's a senior member. It does actually mean that there are people who might be carrying COVID, regardless of whether they have been vaccinated or not. Things like, baggage and stuff. And, you go into the airport, there are, obviously you can't completely clean it, right? I mean, I'm not saying stop everything, but you can't expect to keep things completely clean. In addition to, I mentioned this yesterday, in addition to the fact that there are people in Phuket, in Thailand in general, who are not getting vaccinated. They don't want to get vaccinated. So you could blame them as well. These are like expats as well, who don't want to get vaccinated just because they're like, they don't believe in it, or they're like, they'll get vaccinated if they can travel. And the last time I was talking to somebody about this, I was like, that's not really the reason that you're supposed to get vaccinated. You're supposed to get vaccinated because of the virus, not your travel plans. It's just the dumbest thing, to be honest, but that's just how some people are, dumb. They're saying, of course, reopening borders freely will welcome a surge in cases, but the alternative is to let many industries collapse and leave millions jobless to starve. So keep on vaccinating, and hopefully by year end they can make it happen. I think October is too early, but if they keep increasing vaccine orders and rollout, 2022 might offer some hope and relief. I believe that, BKK Traveler, I believe that. You do need to get vaccinated. October is, I do agree with this as well, that October is too early. But if you do still keep getting vaccinated and rollouts, for example, there are a lot of countries rollouts have been amazing, and that's basically helped keep the numbers down. If we improve our rollout in Thailand in general, that would be definitely a lot of help. The word could is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Seems you can say whatever you like nowadays without needing to provide a shred of evidence, so long as you prefix or prefix whatever nonsense comes next with could. Media will report it as long as what follows is scary enough for the already scared rabbits to continue their cycle of fear. Oh, we got a wordsmith in here. Anyways, poof, and all of a sudden there were thousands of unreported cases. Blah blah. It just keeps on happening, doesn't it? But anywho, real problem will possibly not come from sandboxers if the country reopens. The major threat will come from the thousands of foreign workers that Thailand is proposing are allowed to enter the country, due to massive labor shortage. True. And this is basically Burmese workers, local workers, but also foreign workers, expats as well. So yeah, hilarious. They're gonna see 500,000 new infections regardless of whether the country reopens or not. Mr. UK rules that is not hilarious at all. It's just a matter of how long it takes to get to that number. People will only come if things are opened up. They might as well not bother if there are still lockdowns in place. Correct. Nothing will stop the rising infection numbers. Yes, there are things that will stop the rising infection numbers. I'm pretty sure this guy who lives on Earth, as you can see, has not gotten vaccinated or definitely has major issues with it. On the other hand, to keep things a little light, a little lighter than that, is lockdowns. This is literally a thread started by somebody. I saw the first comment and it made me chuckle, so I thought I'll share that with you. Anyone have any idea why countries are still having lockdowns? That's the question. The answer: to prevent COVID-19 from spreading. I mean, yeah, do I have I can't click haha on this, but it is true, isn't it? With very few vaccinated and with not so good prevention for Delta, with infections in thousands, blah blah, it's still worth everything to flatten the curve and prevent health services meltdown. This wave might last till the end of year. My lifestyle is very little affected and I will be more holiday-like active, if not my money-pinching wife. Yeah, the problem with live streams is you think of jokes, but you don't want to say things to piss people off. He's probably married to a local guy. That's all I'm gonna say. Lockdowns are too expensive to maintain in the long run, so governments are slowly realizing that using them doesn't solve any problem and make things worse at the end. No, the problem is, yes, thank God we had the vaccine, but the problem is that they are giving up. They're not realizing they are giving up because they've understood that people don't care. People don't really listen, and that's disturbing, dude. That's really, really, really disturbing. Anywho, yeah, give me a sec. I need to hide web pages for a sec, right? And check a few things quickly. Okay. Just checking the sound and everything's working fine. Oh, and a little shout out to Restream. This is the free version, so I can't like. I mean, I can stream on Twitch, I can stream on YouTube for free, but for Facebook pages I need to pay, so I'm avoiding that right now because I'm a cheapskate. But yeah. Web pages, go. Okay. So lockdowns are, yeah, that it hasn't worked anywhere yet as far as I'm aware. In my opinion, all lockdowns have done is ruin mainly working class people's lives. They have, but there's a reason lockdowns are happening. It's not like people are just like governments have just decided they want to do lockdowns for the heck of it. It's just really stupid to think like that, man. I mean, I'm not saying totally believe in your government. I'm really not saying that. You know, a lot of governments can't be trusted. But you do realize that fact is that there is a virus in the world, or is that something that was created by the government as well to keep people poor? Yeah, anywho. Enough drama. Let's leave that to Twitch and YouTube. No offense to streamers, just saying, if I'm in the UK and all I was hearing from our government until they sorted the vaccine is stay home, protect the NHS, the same NHS that have been systematically dismantling for the last 20 years, all of a sudden become precious to them. Yep, they become precious when you're about to die. Anyways, yeah, so let's go on to some videos. There's some really interesting videos I watched half a minute of and things like that. I really wanted to watch it with you guys, whoever's watching this and watches this later. There's a bunch, so you can see 2 Talibans over there, but let's start with this Asmongold thing because I do have something to say about this as well. Yeah.
This, and I'm gonna just say what it is. I'm gonna be honest with this, and I'm gonna just say what it is. I read the comments in the thread, they're right. Nobody gives a fuck you take a day off. Nobody knows who you are. That's the truth. And if every other big streamer, if people got together and they said we're all going to collectively do it, I would do it in a heartbeat, right? I would do it. I have got no problem because I do believe in power in numbers. I absolutely do, which is why I don't believe in this. Like, you can't get a bunch of 20 Andys together and think that you're going to do anything. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, who cares?
It
doesn't matter. Yeah. What are you gonna get, like a 20 Andy? Yeah, a 20 Andy. Like, who gives a who cares?
This is not related to the actual point I wanted to make. You know, a day off Twitch. This is something so big that's happening right now. Or, well, I can't say it's big, is it? But here's the problem, though. Why is it happening? Is something that I don't know if it's being addressed exactly, like why exactly this is happening. The thing is that, you know, when it comes to racism in general, I'm not talking about to streamers and stuff, against streamers and stuff. Racism in general has been embedded in you if you are any kind of minority, and embedded into your head so badly that you feel like shit in general. A day off Twitch doesn't solve many issues, does it? The bigger issue is it's 2021 for frick's sake. Why are people still racist about anything? Yes, you have different beliefs, you're different, you know, one person likes biryani, the other person likes burgers, or both. But you know, at the end of the day, I had a better take on this, by the way. At the end of the day, if you remove these hate spammers, basically the what do they call hate rates. If you remove the people entirely, you know, a person who's being rated, hate rated, if they have a chance to even select if they want to be rated or not, it's a function of Twitch. It's a big thing in streaming. You know, if somebody sends you like 5,000 or 20,000 or 60,000 viewers all of a sudden, that's supposed to be really good, right? But the problem is that even if they can select, if you know they want to be rated or not, that might be a good option. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that the people behind those rates are still racist. I personally don't know what to do about it. It just, you know, the reason they want to do a day off Twitch is basically they want people to Twitch to take action. And I'm not sure. I haven't been on the platform too long. I don't know much about it, but I have a feeling that they will do something about it. I guess I'm maybe too positive. I just want to know what happens. At the end of the day, you know, educating each other and figuring shit out. Like, you know, the good thing is technology is so vast right now that everyone's in touch and everyone can see what the other is doing. And the world's not really that bad. I don't understand the concept of racism. I understand that it happens. It has happened to me as well, which you know is probably the reason I'm talking about it. But you know, for example, this is a funny story. I actually went to the US for college, and I used to travel back and forth from Pakistan, like Pakistan to US and back. They used to racially profile me every single time the TSA did. And one day, just one week of it, so when I was traveling back into the US, I wore a shirt. It said huge. It was a big, you know, in big letters in the back, it said fugitive. No, in small letters in the front, it said fugitive 150 states. In the back, it was a huge fugitive, like this big, fugitive 150 states. And I had a beard. I had kind of like an afro. And that was the first time ever that nobody stopped me. Nobody stopped me. In fact, they stopped these 3-4 really old white ladies, like grannies basically. And like I was standing in one line and they were standing in the detain line, and we were looking at each other and we were laughing and joking about it. I was like, well, you know, I guess they love Muslims now. And that's basically, that was the only time I've never been checked. Other than that, they used to check for bombs. They used to check for so many things. And that's basically a part of racism too, isn't it? Profiling. And I was never comfortable. I was literally never comfortable. And that's what I'm saying. You're literally never comfortable. Imagine in 4 years of college, I went back and forth several times. Every single time I was disturbed. I experienced racism in the US in college as well, which was ridiculous. Most of my friends were, you know, really amazing. Most of the people were really amazing, but you know, there were issues, and I was always disturbed by certain situations. So yeah, this thing needs to be nipped in the bud, but I'm just hoping that if they're removed entirely from the platform, then they'll learn to shut the fuck up and control this shit. I don't understand. I don't see any other way to go about it. Just quieten them down entirely. And a day off Twitch may or may not help, but let's see what happens. This is September 1st, right? Great, 5 days, 6 days after I decide to start streaming, this happens, but let's see what happens. Anywho, there is this no, let's watch this one later. Let's switch this. There is this New Delhi smog tower, and the smog tower is basically, you know, obviously pollution. But I found 2 videos that were similar, but they're really short, so let's just watch it. The other ones looks very similar, but it has a different take. I mean, this one says New Delhi opens first smog tower to improve air quality. I was like, wow, cool. And literally the second video I see goes like, New Delhi opens first smog tower in quotes, yeah, same thing. And then it's the expert says absolute waste. So that made me chuckle today as well, and that's what all of this is about, helping you chuckle and be happy with a little bit of racism talk and some COVID news. Let's watch it. My god, there's so much pollution. That's ridiculous. I wonder if they literally took the shittiest parts.
We think this smog tower will purify air within a 1 kilometer radius. We are experimenting with the new technology here and will continue to monitor the tower's performance.
Look at that. Like, holy crap. I should turn the music off, shouldn't I? Wait. No, not this music, but the background music. Give me a sec. Sorry if you couldn't hear much. I'll just pause it for now. Yep. It's 2020.
I face many issues because of the pollution. It's hard to walk on the streets and my health also worsens. I end up taking many medicines those days.
$2 million for one tower? I'm pretty sure all of that money did not go into the
would
tower.
require in the thousands of these, for every nook and cranny of the city, right, to be able to sort of really make a tangible difference. If you can't, I mean, and that's just insane amounts of money. We shouldn't be popping it into that at all.
Yeah, that's true. Fix cars, control the carbon emissions of cars, factories, that could help for sure. We forget that pollution is caused
This
by those
brightly
things.
coloured imposing structure in the heart of New Delhi is the city's latest attempt to fight air pollution. The 24-meter tall outdoor air purifier has 40 fans which filter the air around it. The pilot project cost taxpayers nearly $3 million and is a result of an order issued by the Supreme Court in 2019.
We think this smog tower will purify air within a 1 kilometer radius.
No, he's not saying that. That's Hindi. He's saying kafi kam hua hai. That means like things have been reduced quite a bit. Why would they change that?
We are experimenting with the new technology here and will continue to monitor the tower's performance.
Delhi has previously taken several steps to address its pollution problem. These include banning coal power plants, limiting the number of vehicles on the road, and stopping construction during peak pollution season. Despite this, the city is engulfed by smog every winter as its air quality breaches hazardous levels.
I face many issues because of the pollution. It's hard to walk on the streets and my health also worsens. I end up taking many medicines those days.
I have heard about the smog towers in China and other countries. I haven't seen one in Delhi, but I am glad it was installed. It may bring down the pollution levels here.
While the government plans to study the impact of the smog tower for 2 years, experts warn it may not be effective.
You'd require in the thousands of these, for every nook and cranny of the city, right, to be able to sort of really make a tangible difference. If you can't, I mean, and that's just insane amounts of money. We shouldn't be popping it into that at all.
If you say thousands, even 1,000 would be
Next month,
1,000
another smog
million
tower
USD.
is set to become functional in one of Delhi's most polluted neighborhoods. Emissions from vehicles and industries are the leading causes of Delhi's air pollution. Issues that experts say need technological innovation, but also social and political will to tackle. Pavni Mittal, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
Oopsie. Accidentally clicked. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I'm just curious, like, do smog towers work? Like, whoa, Whoa, check that shit's massive. Let's check it out.
Some people say that winter is a friendly season for Xi'an. As soon as it snows, Xi'an becomes Chang'an. The snow-covered city and the historical past are buried in the snow. Paint a beautiful picture. People wear down jackets and face masks. Enjoy the snow in Chang'an, as if a dream back to the magnificent scene. But in addition to wearing a mask to protect against the cold, there is another important reason: to prevent smog. China's Ministry of Environmental Protection has tested air quality in more than 100 key cities across the country. In the city Huainan, a city near Xi'an, ranked last. Xi'an ranked 7th from the bottom. Haze is made up of air dust, sulfuric acid, nitric and other particles. In addition to making the atmosphere cloudy, it also has great harm to the human body. According to the detection, more than 20 kinds of
Sounds
harmful
like an ad, man. Air purifier system in China's remarkable gives help. Delhi also building 10 towers. That's a proud Indian right there. Okay, they wouldn't need anti-smog towers if they didn't pollute that much. Stop shining their boots. That's what I'm saying. It looks like it sounds like an ad. Will you stop doing shit because it smells? WTF, dude. Almost everything comes from China. What would you expect? You are probably watching this on a Chinese phone. Because this video is about China, you cretin. I'd take the same stance about any country.
toxic fine particles in the haze. These harmful particles can pass through the...
I need real stuff, man. I don't need an ad. That is a short video. Perfect. Please load. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Last sentence is savage. Break contact from... Okay. This ain't working. To prevent increasing air pollution, China manufactured the world's largest law. This is talking about 2018. 100 meters in height. Damn. It doesn't look like it's working, man. There's smoke everywhere. Look at that. Look at smoke on that side. There's something wrong with this video, by the way. Like, seriously wrong with this video. It can't be my internet. Clean air a day. Is it because I'm streaming to 3 platforms? Is that happening? Is this why that is happening? Is that why this is happening? Deepika Chatterjee. How are you doing, Deepika? We're watching some videos about the smog machine. Let me put the chat on here because I didn't see it earlier. So when was this? This was 4 minutes ago. Cool. Yeah, now you guys probably can see it. Deepika, Thank you for messaging. We're just watching stuff on the smog machines and see what you guys are doing in India. The $2 million one. What do you think about it? Do you have any opinion on it? Imagine cleaning those filters all the damn time. I'm sure they have people to do it, but it's like air then rises through layers of cleaning filters before being released into the atmosphere. 7-meter tall tower produces about 8 cubic meters. Size of the greenhouses could cover nearly and plants would be powerful enough to provide the air for a small-sized city. There are no small-sized cities, man. Well, there are obviously, but okay. This also looks just like an ad. Apparently, you can't find anything about it. What we can do is watch this really entertaining video. I couldn't stop myself from watching it. Like, I watched 2 minutes of it and then I was like, you know what? I want to share this with people. You know, Mr. Beard, it's pretty savage.
Is to create, inspire, and abuse.
Hey you, watching this video. Are you young? Would you consider yourself a youngster or possibly even a youngin'? Well, did you know that according to TikToker Sienna May, if you answered yes, that means that you can do whatever you want to with absolutely no consequences. In the United States of America, whenever a child commits a crime, they have to go to juvenile hall. But in the United States of Sienna, whenever a child commits a crime, all they have to do is an interpretive dance, and then they're off the hook. I hope you're doing well today. So recently I decided to take a little bit of a pivot with my content.
I would tell you what this is about, but you probably know this video was uploaded on August 4th. But in addition to that, he actually explains a bit as well. So
I'm going to be focusing on more commentary style videos, and I thought the perfect person to focus on in today's video is Sienna May Gomez and her absolutely insane apology video. Sienna May is a TikToker who rose to fame in 2020. I would say she's most well known for her body positivity style content, like this video where she shows how people suck in their stomachs when they take pictures for Instagram, but look, their stomachs don't actually look like that. This type of content is perfectly fine, but it doesn't really apply to people who are actually fat like me, because when I try to suck in my stomach, it doesn't make me look like a model, it makes me look like the fucking Michelin Man. So this style of body positivity content only really applies to mid-sized people. It doesn't really apply to fatties like me. But, you know, mid-sized people need body positivity too, so I never really had a problem with it. Unfortunately, though, her content gets much, much worse. The first controversy Sienna May got into was when she released this merch which asks people, "Did you eat today?" I guess the intention behind the merch was to remind people with eating disorders to eat, as if they don't already know to do that. But if I personally had anorexia and I saw someone in public wearing that shirt, it would not make me feel empowered. It would more make me feel, I guess, infantilized, like, "Hey buddy, did you remember to eat today? Did you take a shower? Did you take your medication? Aw, good job." I don't know, it just gives me savior complex vibes, especially if the person wearing the merch doesn't personally suffer from an eating disorder. During the controversy surrounding the merch, Sienna released this apology video, which gives us our first glimpse into her thought process.
Hey guys, I've heard the messages from many of you, and I'm deeply sorry for any offense caused. I'm young and I'm still navigating the world and this industry, and obviously I will not always get it right the first time.
So, obviously I agree that young people are going to make mistakes, and I do think that we should allow them to learn and grow from their mistakes to a certain extent, but as you're going to see moving forward, Sienna Mae clearly seems to think that just because she's young, she should not be held responsible for her mistakes whatsoever. Do I think that Sienna should have been canceled for this merch? No, not at all. It was just kind of naive and stupid, but things get much worse from here. So a few months ago, Sienna's ex-boyfriend, Jack Wright, accused her of assaulting him. Sienna then posted a YouTube video where she completely denied these allegations. In response, Jack's friend posted a video where Sienna seems to be making out with Jack while he is unconscious. Then Sienna posts another video where she continues to just deny, and at one point she says, "Jack, if I abused you, why didn't you ever tell me?" Because, Sienna, sometimes victims are afraid to speak out about their trauma, you victim-blaming bitch. So after all of this, Sienna takes a month off of social media, and then she comes back and posts this absolutely insane video.
I decided to take a month off of social media due to the negativity surrounding my platform.
Oh yeah? Negativity surrounding your platform. Okay, I mean that's a pretty interesting way to say accused of assaulting someone.
My purpose in this life is to create, and whether that's silly TikTok dances or showing unedited photos of myself.
Wow, that is just so brave. Showing unedited photos of yourself, doing silly TikTok dances. The world is just such a better place now, Sienna. Thank you.
Creating and inspiring is what fulfills me. I know that this is why God and the universe have given me this platform.
I just can't stand this. It feels like she thinks so highly of herself. That she's some sort of revolutionary person who has changed the internet because she posts unedited photos of herself. And like, I wouldn't hate on her for doing this. It's perfectly fine. But the problem is that this is how she's responding to allegations of abuse, is by just jerking herself off, basically. It's really gross.
I preach self-love, but that takes time and patience.
You know, I think the best way to find self-love and the best way to really improve yourself is to not abuse people. You know, just don't abuse people.
Even if I can only inspire one person, I will have done what I was put on this earth to do.
I think you have inspired a lot of young people to victim blame and abuse people. So, good job.
We're all learning and growing.
Okay, so she says we're all learning and growing. But according to you, you have done nothing wrong. So what exactly are you learning and growing from? Are you saying that you did abuse him and that you're learning that that was not okay to do? Or are you still denying all the allegations? It's not exactly clear, Sienna.
And more than anything, I'm beyond thankful for my family, friends, partnerships, and supporters.
I'm really glad that she snuck in there that she's thankful for her partnerships, because what she's saying is she's thankful for her brand deals. Because at the end of the day, silly TikTok dances and unedited photos of yourself don't pay the bills, do they, Sienna? So you hope that you can keep all your nice brand deals and just keep denying all the allegations and just sweep everything under the rug. That's great. Good job.
There's a song by Sam Smith that I think a lot of people my age can relate to.
Okay, so this song that she chose by Sam Smith, the entire message of the song is that it's okay to make mistakes while you're young. Sam Smith is not talking about abusing people. That is not the mistakes that Sam Smith is talking about. In the song, he talks about, like, getting drunk, getting high, you know, hooking up with people. That might be a mistake. Not abusing people. I'm sure Sam Smith would not approve of this apology video. I'm honestly at a loss for words, because this is probably the most egotistical thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I honestly need to know who thought this was a good idea. After being accused of assault is not the time for you to show off your middle school level interpretive dancing skills. To lose. That's my favorite move in the whole thing, that karate chop move that she did. Please do not hold me accountable for my actions. Of the song, it says, kiss 100 boys and not feel like I'm tied to them? How tone deaf and stupid do you have to be to dance to a song where the lyrics talk about kissing 100 guys when you have been accused of kissing your boyfriend when he was unconscious, which is assault? She is the perfect example of a self-obsessed influencer who can only see things through the lens of how it affects her. Like, how separated from reality do you have to be to think that this video was a good idea?
I've done nothing wrong, I'm young.
And there we go. This is the heart of what Sienna May believes. She believes that when you are young, you can't do anything wrong. That's why she chose this song. Well, after subjecting myself to whatever that was, I thought I would make my own version of her apology video. Except this one is a little bit more honest.
I decided to take a month off of social media.
I just realized I'm covering Mr. Beard. That was not my intention. His take is actually pretty funny. Should I just remove the chat? I mean, it's not like there's a bunch of people talking, but I would like that option to be there. So let's see if this looks better.
Being exposed as an abuser was very difficult on my mental health. But through that struggle, I found clarity. And I realized that if I stop posting on social media, I'll stop making money. My purpose in this life is to create, whether that's through doing karate chop interpretive dances or showing unedited photos of my roles. My purpose is to create, inspire, and abuse. God is the one who gave me this purpose. So if you want someone to blame, blame God. I preach self-love, but the only way to truly love yourself is to hurt others. If I can only abuse one person, I will still have done what I was put on this earth to do.
My God.
I am beyond thankful for all the support from my friends, my family, my managers for writing this apology, but most of all, I am thankful for today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. There's a song that I think a lot of young abusers can relate to. I hope this inspires you.
That's crazy. My God, that was so brutal.
Wild and young, and not be afraid to abuse.
Will I regret this? Am I regretting this right now? I don't know.
So don't cancel me. Can't you see that I'm just 17? I'm a kid, and all I wanna do is stab a couple kids, rob a couple banks, kiss unconscious boys, and commit tax evasion. If you try to judge me, I'll shoot you with my gun. Committing crimes is fine. I'm young.
Man. Such a dick. Look at his face.
Subscribe to the channel, then go follow my Twitch, and then go check out my Patreon, you stupid bitch.
Okay. Don't copyright me, man. I'm subscribed. This was an excellent video. This was amazing. Sam Smith used today that shirt feels like an ED equivalent of telling a person with depression that they should smile more. True. Through all the comedy, this is a really important commentary. Male abuse victims get overlooked too much. Male, women, everybody. It's ridiculous. It does happen, like, a lot. And nobody comes out and says it. The most fucked up thing that, what's her name? Sienna? The worst thing, and one of the first things she actually said was that, what was it? She basically mentioned, like he said on the video, that I'm not wrong. I'm young, I make mistakes. I don't understand how you make that mistake of literally sexually abusing somebody. I did not understand also why that one guy in the video that that guy's friend posted. I'm just not sure why he basically walked off. I don't know. If I was in his position, I don't know what I would have done. But if I can comment on what I would have done, if whether that's true or not, I don't know, because I wasn't in that situation. I would have thrown her off and then stayed with the guy who was passed out or sleeping. That's what I personally would have done, or I would want to do if you put me in that position right now. But yeah, that's just a messed up situation. But this guy did a fantastic job. It's apparently he does this a lot. But yeah, I don't want to be copy strike, so I'm not gonna play another because I think this one actually has a song. How does he make these videos? Mr. Beard's other socials, apology, parody. So he's mentioned music in this video, and he's Sam Smith Young. So yeah, he is not gonna get copyright strike, but you know he's mentioned that, so I don't want to do that. This is one really interesting one. I'll end the stream on that, but I want to watch this Taliban situation a bit. Oh, there's two interesting ones.
The evacuations are being carried out in a broad cooperation. Of course, and I want to stress this, the US is leading them. Without the US, other nations couldn't continue the evacuations. We need to...
Without the US, things would not be so shit, people. Come on.
...to recognize that. And just as we want to carry out the
They're
evacuations
not angels,
in a united
dude.
way, we also want to be united as we carry out the rest of our actions in Afghanistan.
The number one condition
Brush your hair, man.
as G7 is that they've got to guarantee right the way through August the 31st and beyond, safe passage for those who want to come out. Now, some of them will say that they don't accept that, and some of them, I hope, will see the sense of that, because the G7 has
foreign and Afghan citizens who wish to get to the airport. We have also raised this issue with our American friends and partners on two particular aspects. First, the need to secure the airport as long as necessary to complete the operations. And second, a fair and equitable access to the airport for all nationals entitled to evacuation.
All right, for more now, we want to bring in our international editor, Richard Walker. Good evening to you, Richard. So the U.S. president not extending the deadline despite pleas from some of his allies. So what do we know about why he is sticking to this deadline of August 31st?
Yeah, well, Brenda, reporting is that
Taliban press
he's...
conference. Let's see these guys, man.
The UK and the European Union have called on the US to extend the August 31st deadline. But in a press conference in Kabul, Taliban leaders said they had not agreed any deadline extension for evacuations. Earlier, they warned of unspecified consequences for anyone attempting to stretch the deadline.
It's interesting. A woman is asking a question here. Something that they're not supposed to be okay with normally.
The Taliban spokesman also said women government employees should not go to work but should stay at home for their own safety.
Well, Turkey is playing a key role in the Afghan crisis. Its troops are among those securing the airport in Kabul, and it is already receiving Afghan refugees fleeing over land. Now, sitting at the edge of Europe, Turkey also borders Iran, one of Afghanistan's neighbors. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says that Turkey doesn't one of Afghanistan's neighbors. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says that Turkey doesn't intend to take care of Europe's refugee problems and is bolstering its eastern border. Well, I'm joined now by Gaisu Yari, Commissioner of Afghanistan Civil Service. She fled the country just last week, and she is joining us tonight from Poland. Gaisu, it's good to have you on the program. You made it to Europe. We know many other Afghans are not able to get that far. Tell us what awaits those who managed to leave Afghanistan.
Thank you for having me. Well, this is extremely a challenging journey for anybody who is deciding to leave Afghanistan or they are forced to leave Afghanistan. If they didn't leave Afghanistan yet, they have to go through a very hard hours to get to the airport, as I spent 12 hours on the street between the Taliban and the British military to get to the gate. It was extremely hard. But when you are getting in the airport, if you're lucky enough, you will be moved to the airplane and go to your destination quickly. If you're not lucky enough, you have a lot of families, children's waiting in the airport. This is a journey that I don't think I would ever forget in my lifetime.
Sure.
And there is other examples exist too, with other friends and families who actually left similar to me from Afghanistan.
We understand the Taliban now is blocking access to the airport for Afghan citizens. So what options then do Afghans have? They can try to cross the border with Pakistan, Iran, but are they wanted in those countries?
They don't. I talked to a friend who actually used a spin bullet to enter Pakistan yesterday. The people who went to cross the border today from Kabul were beaten on the spin bullet border to enter Pakistan. They actually closed. You cannot cross the border either in Pakistan or Iran. I am not sure. I'm worried to say that. I don't think any borders are open. Even if you have visas, I have family members who have visas to go to India, but there isn't any commercial flights exist for them to go to India. I'm scared that all borders will be closed due to the flood of refugees to
There's
other
already
countries.
a lot
Well,
in
let me
Pakistan,
ask you about this notion of a brain drain in Afghanistan. People such as yourself with an education, with skills, if they're leaving the country, what will the Taliban have then to tap into if it wants to effectively govern the country moving forward?
Well, I would, if I was to see the Taliban, I'm asking the same question. Do they have the capacity to govern that country? Do they know what good governance means? If they do, why are they still relying on the educated people in the gain we had in the past 20 years in the country? First of all, they're rejecting the 20 years of gain that includes the educated people, that includes with the women's rights activists, that includes with the academics exist who know how to govern. Of course, there were some gaps in the past. That would be my question, whether or not they have the capacity to run a good governance and provide services to the people of Afghanistan. If they are calling people to return, if they call me to return back to Afghanistan, they don't even allow my colleagues to work in the civil service of Afghanistan. We do have 30% of women, almost 30%, to work in the civil service. They are currently employed, but they're not allowed to go to their offices. It's not guaranteed for me to return and go and work with the government and the laws that they implement that would limit me and force me to actually obey their rules. There isn't any guarantees. With the uncertainty time in Afghanistan, I don't think anybody will trust the Taliban to return to Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, we could definitely hear the concern in your voice, and we know that there are countless other women.
I don't know if this is a dick thing to say at this point, but like, there are a lot of people who side with another country as soon as they've left. I'm not saying that, you know, she's not gone through shit, but who's to know that she's a puppet? Just throwing it out there. The first president of Afghanistan was also a puppet. The current president who ran away with about what is it, like $168 million? He ran away to Dubai. He was also a puppet. So obviously outside of the country, they're gonna say something, right? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to undermine what she's gone through. It would be good to like have her on the show if possible. That would be awesome. Like just talk to her about shit. I don't know.
In Afghanistan, you have the very same concerns tonight. Guy Suyari, we appreciate your time and your insights. Thank you.
Guy Suyari.
Thank you very much.
Stay well, lady. And then obviously we have Mr. Joe Biden. Taliban, get out. US, okay. No, that's not how it fucking worked. Jesus. Just wondering why now I feel that Taliban say is more, what Taliban say is more realistic than Biden. Taliban is only a threat to the Afghan people, not Biden or the American people. This lady has, or guy, I don't know, has never been outside of her own neighborhood, let alone a freaking country. Their own people, isn't that crazy? Biden has the creepiest eyes, blah blah. They're both liars, trust neither. Yeah, guy, you have so much information. Where did you get that, BBC? Women stay home as our units have not been trained, blah blah. Is that realistic? Just mind their own business without killing anyone who doesn't present existential imminent threat. Mainly economic motive, I must say, exactly. Taliban is indeed more realistic than USA. See, the thing is that you can't, for example, this one, it says, is it too much to ask, just mind their own business? Just that sentence, it's really hilarious that anybody should be able to say that, because that's what America does. The opposite of, they don't mind their own business. And they go around policing the whole world, right? So how are you expecting everybody else to do the opposite of what the biggest country in the you know, well, it's not the biggest country, the one of the superpowers who actually go in, they destroy everything and fuck off? Like, why would you expect other people who might be less educated, I'm just saying less educated because they're not wearing freaking suits like Mr. Biden over here, that just because they're wearing turbans and stuff does not mean that they are crazy. And I'm not talking about this dude. This dude might be crazy. I'm talking about actual Afghan people. There were comments during this whole evacuation. There were these comments like, you know, oh, they all look like freaking animals. No, they don't. That's their culture. That's their country. That's their national dress. So I saw all of this happening. It was just ridiculous what people were saying. And it wasn't even about politics at that point. It was about the people on the street. They're like, oh, they're just freaking animals. We don't need them. We just pull your troops back. It doesn't make sense, man.
The sooner we can finish, the better. Each day of operations,
yeah, 20 years too late, mate,
brings added risk to our troops. But the completion by August 31st depends upon the Taliban continuing to cooperate and allow access to the airport for those who were transporting out, and no disruptions to our operations.
Military aircraft continue to take off from Kabul airport. It's a 24-hour operation. On board, some of the tens of thousands of people who have been evacuated since the Taliban seized power on August the 15th. But it's estimated tens of thousands more are desperate to leave. Despite pressure from governments around the world, and before the US president made his statement, the Taliban reiterated there would be no extension of the August the 31st deadline for the remaining NATO soldiers in Afghanistan to get out.
We will not allow an extension beyond August 31st, so the US should remove and evacuate all personnel by the set deadline.
Mujahid said the Taliban is stopping Afghans from going to the airport.
The Islamic Emirate is trying to encourage people to go home, but the Americans are inviting people to go to the airport. Their adverse policy of continuing to board people on planes. The airport access route has been closed to avoid stampedes.
The UN's top human rights official.
Yeah, you can't take his word on it as well, by the way, just so if anybody thinks that I'm against the US and pro-Taliban, that's not the freaking case. You can't trust this motherfucker either. You just don't know who to trust, but I'm just saying it took 20 years for the US to figure their shit out and not basically leave, and clearly not, fix policies and figure shit out or train troops, which, by the way, 350,000 that Biden says was bullshit, complete bullshit. It took them 20 years to mess around and leave, and even the soldiers over there, there have been documentaries, we'll watch it someday. There have been documentaries where soldiers are like, we can't do anything, over here. We're gonna leave, and things are gonna be shit. So why? And this was 2013. So I'm just curious. 2014. So why did they stay for six to 7 more years after that? If it's gonna be the exact same issue, it's not about helping the people that many people think actually that the U.S. went to save Afghanistan and Afghani people. That wasn't the case. It's not Anywho.
Told an emergency session of the UN Human Rights Council she has received credible reports of the Taliban committing serious violations, including summary executions of civilians and restrictions on women.
See, that's what I'm saying. You can't trust anybody.
A fundamental red line will be the Taliban's treatment of women and girls, and respect for their rights to liberty, freedom of movement, education.
See, this is the interesting thing as well. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, they have an issue with Afghanistan right now, but what about Palestine, dude? Nobody says anything about Israel and Palestine. It is ridiculous. And all of a sudden, just because this is a hot topic, I don't get it. What, they weren't getting paid during COVID because they felt unimportant and they wanted to actually they want to show something now? I don't get it. Why are they talking about this so much now just because it's happening? The Palestine situation happened 2 months ago as well, gravely messed up. The whole world was screaming about it, and then all of a sudden everything's cool.
And respect for their rights to liberty, freedom of movement, education, self-expression and employment, guided by international human rights norms. In particular, ensuring access to quality secondary education for girls will be an essential indicator of commitment to human rights.
The Taliban spokesman said women should, for the time being, stay at home because Taliban fighters were not yet trained on how to behave.
We need to have a procedure and a plan in place. Security force is not operational. They are not trained to deal with women. That's why we're stopping women from going to work. We ask women to stay home, and their salaries will be resuming. Come back to work when we have a system in place.
With no extension of the August the 31st deadline, there are mounting concerns for tens of thousands of Afghans that want to leave this country. The Taliban says they have nothing to fear and that there will be no reprisals against people who have worked with NATO, foreign organisations or the media in the past. Trusting the Taliban on the basis of their words alone is something that many Afghans and the international community find very difficult to do. Charles Strafford, Al Jazeera, Kabul.
Okay. Yeah, I think sorry if I kept on stopping and talking. It's just kind of into this. I can't stop myself, I guess. It has been an hour. I know a lot of people stream for 8 hours, 9 hours. A lot of my favorite streamers stream that long. I've had a really long day today. I was at work, then I had a couple of meetings after work. I came home at 7:30. You guys don't give a shit, I understand. In this entire story, so I'll stop boring you. But what I will say is, I'm out. There are 2 things that I want you guys to look forward to for tomorrow. One is how WhatsApp makes money. the insane story of WhatsApp, and the other is the disappearance of Noah's food review, the food critic that went missing. These are fairly new stories, and I would love to like watch them with you. It's like, yeah, let's just see if we can steal people's content and become some form of a streamer, a daily streamer. That would be nice. Anyways, thank you so much for you guys for watching. Thank you, Deepika Chatterjee. You are our first commenter ever. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll try to do this a little earlier. I'll see. I'll try to figure out, like, you know, what the best time would be. If you guys want to like give me any suggestions on, you know, when would be a better time, please let me know. This is past my dinner time. I have ordered food, I haven't eaten it, so very highly inconvenient. But yeah, and there's in the bag that's Planey and that's Owly. You guys have seen them from other videos. Say hi, boys. They're my channel mascots, so I'll bring them closer. They're adorable. Take care of yourselves, and I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Please share, comment, subscribe. Feel free to send me some stories. Yeah.